mainly we will be talking about the listening module, right? So we are expecting some more participants. So we are going to wait for them for some time. In the meantime, if you want to ask something, both of you, you can ask me anything regarding IELTS.
Ma'am, typically, how many days can I expect to prepare before appearing for this exam?
So Rashi, mainly it would depend on you, right? It would depend on you how fast you can catch up. Okay, when are you planning to take the test?
I have got it scheduled for 31st of December.
31st December.
Yes, yes.
Okay, are you aware of the test format?
Yeah. I went through like the format and everything, but the point is that I am a working professional. I haven't got a chance to, practice much as of now.
So see, basically, like writing and all require a little bit of practice.
Mhm.
But yes, I think it's too short a time. But yes, it will all depend on you. If
Mhm.
you have an idea about what type of questions and what all you get, so probably, with just a little bit of brushing up, you might manage.
Mhm. Okay. And
Yeah.
is there a way out from where like I can practice and stuff so that it can instantly tell me that where I'm going wrong? Some online test kind of thing?
I really don't think so. That is, if you enroll yourself with any of the coaching center, they
Mhm.
would give you some free tests, mock tests,
Mhm.
right? If you enroll with us, you'll be able to take the various mock tests.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think it's only possible if you are on board with some of the, coaching
Right,
institutes.
right.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Shabaz, any question?
No, ma'am.
Okay. By the way,
Okay.
Rashi, what band are you aiming at?
7 plus.
7 plus, okay. Yeah. Yes, Sheba, sorry, you were saying something. Shebaz, were you saying something?
No, ma'am, nothing.
Okay. So, kindly have some patience. We'll just wait for a few minutes and we shall start the session. Okay. Yes, good evening, everybody. So we were just waiting for some more participants. Yes, I welcome you all. Hi, Happy. Hi, Kirti. A very warm welcome. Okay, so my name is Rupa, and yes, today we will be talking about mainly listening module. So basically, to tell you about IELTS test, it is a test of your English proficiency. It's a test which basically assesses your skills, how well you can communicate when you migrate to an English speaking country, your ability to read, write, your ability to understand, your ability to uh, listen, and then write, your ability to communicate is what is assessed, right? So you are basically tested upon four components, that is listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Okay. Today we are going to talk about listening. So your total test time is 2 hours and 44 minutes. 1 hour is reading, 1 hour is writing, 30 minutes is listening, and 11 to 14 minutes is speaking. Reading, listening, and writing happens on the same day, one after the other, in continuation. Speaking is held at a different time. Okay, it can be on the same day but at a different time because it is a face-to-face interaction with your examiner, right? And the rest of the three are the tests which you give in continuation. There is no break in between, right? So basically, it is designed to assess the English language ability, as I told you, of the people who tend to study or work where English is the language of communication, right? So basically, there are two purposes, okay, for which the people migrate. One is for work and one is for study, right? So candidates who are migrating for work give the general test, and candidates who are migrating to study give the academic test. There is not much difference actually, but yes, the reading module and the writing module is a little different, right? It is generally accepted in UK, Canada, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand, and many parts of the USA. The test is offered in more than 500 locations in 120 countries. It is conducted on 48 fixed dates in a year and 4 times a month. So your test result is valid for 2 years. That is, you can keep using the same result for applying into various universities for 2 years. Okay. Also, I would like to tell you there is no limitation to how many times you can give the test. You can keep giving the test till the time you achieve your required band. Okay. But yes, every time you register yourself for the test, you will have to pay the registration fee. Okay, so it is advised that you take proper coaching and give your test and achieve your band in the first go, right? So there is no pass or fail in your test. You are awarded with a band score which ranges between 1 to 9. Okay, so you get a band which is anywhere between, which can be anywhere between 1 to 9, wherein 1 is the lowest and 9 is the highest. So ideally, a band which is above 6.5 or 7 is considered to be a good band, okay, and which is the most required band. But otherwise, there is a specific or individual type of requirement of band by the various institutes and the countries, and there are certain other parameters, other criteria on the basis of which your band requirement would vary, right? Any questions? Okay. So this is your test structure. Your listening is 30 minutes, reading is 60 minutes, writing is 60 minutes, right? And speaking is 11 to 14 minutes. So listening is 30 minutes. You have four sections and you have 40 questions, which means 10 questions in each section. Yes, I would also like to mention that there are two modes through which you can give the test, that is paper-based and computer-based. Paper-based is given on the paper, that is you write on the paper with a pen or a pencil, and computer-based is a test which you give on the computer, right? So it is up to you. You have to decide which mode you want to take. Okay. Now, decision of which mode to take would depend on certain factors like your pace of writing, your pace of typing, right? Your legibility. Okay. If your handwriting is not readable, please go for computer-based test. Okay. Your compatibility with the computer. These are the various criteria or the points which you have to consider to decide whether you want to take computer-based or paper-based test. Okay. So yes, for listening, there are four sections and 40 questions, right? And for each correct answer, you get 1 mark. These marks are then converted into bands through a band conversion table, which I will be showing you. Okay. Reading is a 60 minutes test. You have three sections and you have 40 questions, which means precisely 13 to 14 questions in each section. Writing is 60 minutes. You have two tasks. Task one is report writing. Task two is essay writing. Okay. Speaking is 11 to 14 minutes. You have three parts. And as I told you, it is a face-to-face interaction. Okay. Okay. So you can just go through this and I will explain it to you. Sorry. Okay. So now coming to the structure of IELTS listening test. Okay. So as you can see, there are four sections. So you will get to hear four recordings. Okay. So first recording, first recording is uh, a conversation between two people. Okay. On some general, everyday topic. Okay. It can be a general conversation in which the speaker is calling up the customer care and checking about some hotel reservation, some bank account opening, some train timing, some holiday plans, and hotel booking. Okay, it can be anything. Okay, it's going to be a general conversation. Recording two is a monologue or a speech, okay, of one person. Monologue is where there is one speaker. So the speaker talks about any general topic. Recording three is again a conversation or a discussion between 2 to 4 people who are discussing about some academic topic or some educational context, right? Fourth recording is a monologue, okay, where one person is talking on some academic, it can be a speech, it can be a talk on some academic topic, right? So these are the four types of recordings. Okay, also I would like to mention the candidates who take the paper-based test gets get 10 minutes extra at the end to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Okay, why you get this time is because you are writing your answers while you are listening to the audio. Okay, so you do not have so much time that you write the correct question number, then you write the answer. So basically these candidates, they usually write their answers on the question paper or on a separate question paper. Sorry, a separate paper. You can ask for an extra sheet from the examiner, or you can just keep writing your answers on the question paper. In the 10 minutes which you get at the end, you transfer your answers to the answer sheet. You have to be very careful while transferring your answers. You have to be careful that you're writing the correct question number, the spellings, and everything, right? So we will be just talking about the type of questions and the type of audios you will be getting to hear. Okay. So before we move any further, I will request all of you to kindly fill up this form, the link for which I have shared in the chat box. Kindly fill this up for me so that we can proceed further. Thank you so much. I'm waiting. Okay. Thank you so much. I hope all of you have filled this form. Thank you so much. So basically, objectives of taking this test is to determine your ability to understand the spoken English, whether you've been able to understand the key ideas, and identifying the tone, emotion, and opinion and outlook and the purpose of the speaker. Okay, so this is an overview. Your section one is giver types of speaking. It's like giving of information, and there are two uh, participants. One is giver of information and the other is receiver of information. Second audio is information talk. It can be any general topic. Third is a conversation again. It can be amongst up to four people, two, three, four people. And fourth is a lecture. Okay, it can be a talk, it can be a speech, it can be anything, right? Also, there is one more thing which is very important. So before the audio is played, okay, firstly, the audio is played only once. Okay, it is played only once. There is no option of repeating it, pausing it, or playing it again, or anything. It will be just played just once. Okay, so you have to practice and you have to be trained enough to understand the accent in the first go only. Secondly, you get 30 seconds before the audio is played. Okay. In these 30 seconds, you are required to go through the questions, right? You can go through the questions so that you have an idea about what you're getting to hear. Okay. Also, you will be able to focus better on the audio, right? Okay, these are certain tips. Kindly read them. So you can predict the question in the 30 seconds which you have. Go through the questions, okay, so that you predict what type of an audio you will be getting to hear. Look out for paraphrasing. It's not always that you will get the same exact words which you listen in the audio. Okay, it can be paraphrasing, that is, uh, the words will mean the same, but then some synonyms can be used, or some other words which mean the same can be used. Ignore the words you don't know. Okay, don't worry or don't panic if you hear a word that you don't know. You can at least, guess the context in which it has been used. Underline the keywords in the 30 seconds which you have. Okay. Take care with the grammar and spelling. Okay. Please go through this also. You can use uppercase or lowercase letters. Okay. You need to familiarize yourself with the various accents like Australian, American, Canadian, uh, any type of accent you can get. So you need to be familiar with all types of accents. Okay, any doubt in this? Or are you still reading, all of you? These are the various types of questions which you get. Okay, so they can be matching type, multiple choice, short answer questions, completion type questions. Okay, so these are the various types of questions which you get. This is the band score conversion table. Okay, so this is how band is calculated. If you get 39 to 40 correct answers, you get a 9 band. If 37 to 38, you get 8.5, and so on. These are certain FAQs. Please go through them. So then there are multiple choice questions. Okay, these multiple choice questions can be with one answer or more than one answer. Okay, so that would be specified in the instructions right in the beginning. So you need to just go through the instructions and then do the questions, right? These can be very confusing, okay, because the speaker would be talking about all the options which you hear in the audio, right? Okay, so this is a sample question which I will just play and you can try answering, okay?
Part 2. You will hear part of a talk to a gardening club about a local park. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14.
This is the time which you get in the beginning to go through the questions.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 14.
I'm very pleased to welcome this evening's guest speaker, Mark Logan, who's going to tell us about the recent transformation of Minster Park. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you. I'm sure you're all familiar with Minster Park. It's been a feature of the city for well over a century and has been the responsibility of the City Council for most of that time. What perhaps isn't so well known is the origin of the park. Unlike many public parks that started in private ownership, as the garden of a large house, for instance, Minster was some wasteland, which people living nearby started planting with flowers in 1892. It was unclear who actually owned the land, and this wasn't settled until 20 years later, when the council took possession of it. You may have noticed the statue near one of the entrances. It's of Diane Gosforth, who played a key role in the history of the park. Once the council had become the legal owner, it planned to sell the land for housing. Many local people wanted it to remain a place that everyone could go to enjoy the fresh air and natural environment. Remember, the park is in a densely populated residential area. Diane Gosforth was one of those people, and she organised petitions and demonstrations, which eventually made the council change its mind about the future of the land. Soon after this, the First World War broke out in 1914, and most of the park was dug up and planted with vegetables, which were sold locally. At one stage, the army considered taking it over for troop exercises, and got as far as contacting the city council, then decided the park was too small to be of use. There were occasional public meetings during the war, in an area that had been retained as grass. After the war, the park was turned back more or less to how it had been before 1914, and continued almost unchanged until recently. Plans for transforming it were drawn up at various times, most recently in 2013, though they were revised in 2015 before any work had started. The changes finally got going in 2016 and were finished on schedule last year.
These are the answers. Then we have map labeling questions, okay, in which, okay, what about your answers? Have you got them right, both of you? Kirti and Happy? Okay, then there are map labeling questions. So uh, there would be a map shown to you, and you will have to uh, label the various rooms or the parts or the anything what is shown to you. It can be, yes, this is map labeling, so you will be shown a map. It can be a map of a university, a college, or anywhere, or a library which shows the different parts of the library. So you would have to label them, right? This is the useful language which you see on the map. Kindly go through this. These are the various words which are used when you are directing, you are being directed to a particular room. Okay, these are certain more words which are used. Okay, we also need to, there would be certain features which are marked on the map, right? So we, certain are marked and certain you have to mark, like here A B C D. So you will have to write the letters over here, which is new car park, which is new cricket pitch. So that would, you'll get to know through the audio when the audio is played, right? Okay, this is a map. I'll play the audio again. You try and label the numbers, okay?
You will hear an audio guide to a public library. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15.
Pause the recording for 30 seconds.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 15.
Welcome to the Selmore Public Library, which has just been reopened after major refurbishment. This tour will introduce you to the building and its services. At any time, you can stop the tour. We enter by the cafe, and our tour begins at the issue desk. If you stand between the information desk and the issue desk and look at the opposite wall, you will see shelves of books in the left-hand corner. This is where you will find a large number of novels and short stories. They are arranged alphabetically. If you are looking for something in particular and it's not on the shelf, you can reserve it. The next area, directly opposite the issue desk, is a section where people can study. The library provides computers for users free of charge on the next floor, beside the reference books. But this area is for people to use their own laptops. You should ask for the internet passcode at the information desk. the right-hand corner of this floor, there is a cafe. A selection of daily newspapers is always available there, but you can also take magazines into the cafe to read while you have a drink. You will find these on the racks to the left of the cafe, and there is a large selection. They are for reference only and cannot be borrowed, but you are welcome to photocopy any articles of interest. We ask you to return them when you have finished. You are not allowed to take fiction or any other books from the shelves into the cafe. Next to the cafe is the exit door leading to the stairs and escalator to the other floors. The largest collection of books in the library is fiction, and the next largest is non-fiction, which is in the corner of this floor opposite the cafe. These can all be borrowed, as opposed to the reference books on the next floor, most of which cannot be taken out of the library, but they can be photocopied. There are several photocopiers available for this purpose downstairs in the basement. To one side of the issue desk is a door leading onto a gallery. This was added to the library as a public space where talks are given once a week on a Saturday by visiting authors of both fiction and non-fiction. It also houses the biography section. There are notices advertising the talks in the study area. Any books that you want to borrow should be taken to the issue desk. Before we leave this floor, I will give you some information about using the library. There are also helpful notices by the information desk.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to...
Okay, let me show you the answers. Check your answers. Yes, Kirti and Happy. How many correct?
Ma'am,
Okay, then
honestly, none of them.
sorry,
Ma'am, none of them.
none of them.
Yes,
Oh, okay, then you need some practice to be done, okay? Oh, Happy,
yes,
you
ma'am.
also none of them? Okay. All right. So then we have completion time, in which again you will be given instructions as to how many words you can use. Okay. So we have to strictly adhere to those number of words in answering the questions. Even if you use a very small word like a or an, that would be counted and your answer would be considered as wrong. Okay. So these are some tips which you should go through. Okay, this is a table completion.
Section 1. You will hear a woman talking to a man who works in a tourist information office. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 6.
Pause the recording for 30 seconds.
You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Good morning. Can I help you?
I hope so. I have a friend in Spain, and her 2 daughters are coming to the city to study for a month. So I thought the Tourist Information Center was the best place to ask about hostels. Can you recommend any?
Of course. I usually suggest one of the Hosteling International places. HI West End is a big hostel in a residential area, but is only 10 minutes from downtown if you take a bus. It's really popular.
The journey time is by bus, so bus has been written in the space. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 6.
Good morning. Can I help you?
I hope so. I have a friend in Spain, and her 2 daughters are coming to the city to study for a month. So I thought the Tourist Information Center was the best place to ask about hostels. Can you recommend any?
Of course. I usually suggest one of the Hosteling International places. HI West End is a big hostel in a residential area, but is only 10 minutes from downtown if you take a bus. It's really popular.
Okay, sounds good. I need to know how much it costs. The girls want a double room to themselves. They don't want to share with other people.
That makes it more expensive. The price is under $30 for a bed in a dormitory, but they'll be paying $50 a night. But if they become members of Hosteling International, the price comes down to $41 a night. Membership costs $35.
Right.
And membership offers them benefits too on all kinds of activities.
What kind of things?
Skydiving and whitewater rafting, things like that.
I don't think they're interested in that kind of thing. If they become members, will they get cheaper entrance tickets to museums?
Oh, yes. And also discounts on bicycle and car hire.
Okay, it's probably worth it. Is the hostel very noisy? They're coming here to do some studying.
I think it is quite noisy as it's a really big hostel. And if they want to use the internet, this hostel still makes a charge, unfortunately. It's $1 for 15 minutes and $3 for an hour.
It might not be ideal for them. What else can you recommend? Is there anything in a quiet area?
There's Elliscoat Hostel.
How do you spell that?
ELLISCOAT.
I've never heard that name before. And where is that?
It's on the beach looking over the bay. Here, look on the map.
Oh!
It's quiet, but not far from Dragon Island. There's plenty going on there in the evening.
Oh, that's a nice area. And if they want to go to Dragon Island, it only takes a couple of minutes to walk down to the ferry. So, how much is a room there?
It's in such a nice spot that the rooms are a bit more expensive. They're $62.
Does that include any meals?
Unfortunately not. It is possible to buy meals in the hostel at a reasonable price, but because it isn't very busy in the winter, they only cook in summer.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 7 to 10.
Pause the recording for 30 seconds.
Now listen and answer questions 7 to 10. Oh, I think I know the place you mean. It's an old building, isn't it?
Yes, it's well known as it's one of the oldest in the city. There's been a hotel there since 1887 when it was first built. It
It was turned into a hostel in 1985, and they've invested a lot of money restoring it inside.
They'd like that. But I'm just looking on the map at where their college is. It's right in the center. It is a bit far for them from there.
The hostel actually has scooters for hire at a very good price, so they could do that. It would be quicker than cycling or walking to the center.
It is a bit expensive, but it sounds like the best one so far, unless there's something a bit cheaper.
Okay, well, what about the backpackers hostel? That's not so expensive. It's in a side street in the entertainment district. They wouldn't need to go far to find everything they want. They could walk everywhere, and it's very reasonable. Only $45 and another $5 if they want to have breakfast.
But what about other meals?
There's no cafe, but on each floor in this hostel, there's a kitchen for residents to cook in.
Oh.
I'm not sure how well equipped they are, but it should be fine for basic meals.
Well, that's really very helpful. I'll pass all this information on now.
Do ask your friends to ring me if they need to know anything else.
I will. Thank you.
Yes, check your answers. How many correct?
Oh, man.
Okay. Okay. So, well, if you practice more, you'll be able to get more correct. Okay. Now, you have to be very careful about the similar sounding numbers like 13, 30. So, while listening, you have to be very careful about the words which are being. Are you saying something, Kirti?
No, ma'am. I'm sorry, I forgot to unmute.
Okay. So there are different ways of saying the same word. 1250 and 1250, 5500, 5500. So there are different. So we should know all the ways how different numbers, different words are spoken, right? Time 6:25, 25 past 6.
Ma'am, can you please play the previous slide?
Which one?
The previous one, 34. Yeah. Done, ma'am.
Okay. Then there are matching type questions also in which you are given two sets of options which you have to match, okay, while getting information from the audio. So for computer based, there is an option of dragging the correct answer into the number of, into the correct question. And for paper based, you have to pick up and write the letter over here. It says write the correct letter. So we will write A, B, C, whichever is the correct letter, we will write over here. Okay, this is a matching type question. Try to do it.
Now listen and answer questions 16 to 20.
So now let me tell you about some of the activities that your child can do during the after-school sessions. As well as being able to use the playground equipment, computers, and the library, there is usually at least one special activity that children can do each day. For example, Spanish. We have a specialist teacher coming in every Thursday to give a basic introduction to the language through games and songs. She does 2 sessions, one for the over 8s and one for the younger children. This is the only activity which we have to make an extra charge for, but it's well worth it. Once a week, the children have the opportunity to do some music. We're very lucky that one of our staff is a member of a folk band. On Mondays, she teaches singing and percussion to groups of children. We do rely on parental support for this, so if any of you sing or play an instrument and would be prepared to help out at these sessions, we'd be delighted. Painting continues to be one of the most popular activities. To begin with, we weren't keen on offering this because of the extra mess involved, but children kept asking if they could do some art, and so we finally gave in. Art is great for helping the children to relax after working hard at school all day. Yoga is something that we've been meaning to introduce for some time, but haven't been able to find anyone available to teach it. Until now, that is. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully, children will benefit in all sorts of ways from this. Cooking is another popular activity. They make a different sort of cake or pizza or bread each week. Although the younger children love doing it, we found that the mess was just too much. So we've decided to restrict this to the over 8s, as they are better able to clean up after themselves.
Yes, answers correct. All are wrong. Okay. All right. So you need to practice a little more. Okay. So there is some signposting language in the beginning, which we need to hear, which gives us an idea what the audio is going to be all about. Okay, they always say in the beginning, now you will be listening to a conversation between so and so who are discussing about a project they are working on. So that is the signpost language, which tells us what the audio is going to be all about. This is a flowchart completion. You can do it.
3. You will hear 2 tourism students called Natalie and Dave talking about the tourism case study they are doing. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 26. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 26.
Dave, I'm worried about our case study. I've done a bit of reading, but I'm not sure what's involved in actually writing a case study. I missed the lecture where Dr. Baker talked us through it.
Okay, well, it's quite straightforward. We've got our focus. That's tourism at the Horton Castle site. And you said you'd done some reading about it?
Yes, I found some articles and made notes of the main points.
Did you remember to keep a record of where you got the information from?
Sure, I know what a pain it is when you forget that.
Okay, so we can compare what we've read. Then we have to decide on a particular problem or need at our site. And then think about who we're going to interview to get more information.
Okay, so who'd that be? The people who work there? And presumably some of the tourists too?
Yes, both those groups. So we'll have to go to the site to do that, I suppose. But we might also do some of our interviewing away from the site. We could even contact some people here in the city, like administrators involved in overseeing tourism.
Okay, so we'll need to think about our interview questions and fix times and places for the meetings. It's all going to take a lot of time.
And if we can, we should ask our interviewees if they can bring along some numerical data that we can add to support our findings.
And photographs?
I think we have plenty of those already. But Dr. Baker also said we have to establish with our interviewees whether we can identify them in our case study or whether they want to be anonymous.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought of that. Okay, once we've got all this information, I suppose we have to analyse it.
Yes, put it all together and choose what's relevant to the problem we're focusing on, and analyse that carefully to find out if we can identify any trends or regularities there. That's the main thing at this stage, rather than concentrating on details or lots of facts.
Okay, and then once we've analysed that, what next?
Well, then we need to think about what we do with the data we've selected to make it as clear as possible to our readers. Things like graphs or tables or charts.
Right.
Then the case study itself is mostly quite standard. We begin by presenting the problem and giving some background, then go through the main sections. But the thing that surprised me is that in a normal report, we'd end with some suggestions to deal with the problem or need we identified. But in a case study, we end up with a question or a series of questions to our readers, and they decide what ought to be done.
Oh, I hadn't realised that.
All right, so with this, we come to an end of how listening questions are and how they are attempted. So now to just brief you with the type of online classes we have live online classes just the way we had just now, and it's a 30 hours program, so we have it from Monday to Friday. Okay, 1.5 hour. We also provide you with the study material, and then we have an online practice module which has over 700 questions. We also have group review classes with mock analysis. We also have feedback and performance analysis by the faculty. You would also have the access to recording of classes post the live classes, right? There is a dedicated Telegram group wherein you can, share your doubts or any other extra practice which has to be done. Our batches start every week, and this is the number on which you can contact for fee structure, admission process, anything. Okay. So with that, we come to an end of this session. If you have any questions, please, you can ask me. That is all from my side, at least. Okay. All right. All right. So that is it from my side. Thanks for being a wonderful audience. Wish you